4% interest, right? If somebody is getting 6% of return, why should he run a business? Because he puts that money in FD, he will get 7% of interest. If somebody is getting a profit of 8% or 9%, why should he run a business? He put the money into the market, in the share market or mutual funds, he'll get 12% to 15% interest. So if somebody is running a business, his aim is first to get the profit which is higher than market rates. Because if you see, if I can take mutual fund for my money and then get my interest at 12% rate or something, why should I run a business? So a guy who is running a business, firstly wants good profit, okay, secondly wants to establish it as a great organization, thirdly wants to actually grow that organization to a bigger organization, and fourthly he wants to actually, after some stage, he wants to actually become the guy. To in the self-actualization stage, he want to become the guy in the business, okay, want to be known, want name and fame, and money comes already, money has come, so he wants name and fame. So that is why some people start doing charity and all those kind of things. You must have seen so many people in the internet, in the social media and all, who are advertising all their things, because they want to actually be actually known in the society. So these kind of stages come when you start running the business. So now you are going for a job to such a company which is run for profit. So if the company doesn't appreciate and doesn't actually decide that if I take this candidate, he will get me profit, otherwise company will never accept such a candidate who potentially will not provide a good profit to the company. Profit the same of in the terms of work efforts by the candidate. For that, you need knowledge, skills, experience, and attitude to work. That is great thing. Okay, so you will find a lot of people with technical ability, but like I told you yesterday, interpersonal ability and attitude, right attitude, these are the things which are going to make a winner from a loser. Okay, see, if all the medical colleges in Kerala are churning out medical graduates every year, okay, but somebody asks who is the good doctor, you will say some one or two guys name, because there must have been 100 people with him in his medical college, and in that particular period 1,000 people must have become doctors from Kerala, but only 4 or 5 doctors name, the others name you don't know actually. Why? Because these people became experts, because all of them studied the same book, all of them gave the same exam, all of them did all the same things in the college. Okay, now why is someone, a very successful guy who is known to all, like Dr. Devi Shetty or some other famous doctors in the world famous doctors, why we don't know the name of many of them? Because the factor which differentiate them is attitude and their aptitude, isn't it? So ultimately it is attitude which is going to differentiate the success from the failure, and this is exactly what the interviewer is going to locate in you. Do you have the attitude for this job? Firstly, all your other aspects, personality, character, interest, and all the attitude aspects, suitability, and finally, does the candidate has an attitude for this particular job? So these are the most important things looked by an interviewer from you during an interview. So if you understand this thing very clearly, the further part is a cakewalk for you. Okay, it's not difficult. Now coming to types of interview. Okay, so there are different types of, see, I earlier I told categories of interview, 3 categories of interview. Now I'll tell you different types of interview. So first is face to face, very traditional interview. It is, even now it is most common now. Even the online interview is a kind of face to face interview only. Okay, so either you go to employer's office or it's a conference room or interview room, and you may be interviewed face to face. Generally it lasts for around half an hour to 45 minutes, and it may be preceded or followed by tests and exercise. Sometimes they'll give you certain tests. They want to see your aptitude, so they may give you an aptitude test. If the position involves a lot of communication, they may conduct a test of English language. So how many of you actually attempted step test? How many of you attempted step test? Have you ever tried STEP, step test? Anybody? Yes or no? Please respond, please. Yes or no? Please respond. If no, please type no. If yes, please type yes. Some of you please respond. Step test. Okay, no, Anugrah says no, Agar says no. Okay, I think you have not been introduced to that. Okay, I'll tell you how to do it. Okay, after this class, after today's class, go to internet, search for step test, STEP, step test. It is actually done by some website of Hindustan Times, I think, and you log in with your this thing. Okay, so you will get a test in which there is sometimes they'll give you a paragraph and you have to give an answer. Then there will be audio clip and you have to give an answer, and they'll give you a video clip, you have to give an answer. So it is basically the test of your ability in comprehending, learning, listening, and viewing a video, and all kinds of comprehensive abilities. Okay, this test is free. You have to log in with your own email address, and you can take this free. It takes some time. Okay, it takes around half an hour or so, and it is time bound test. There is a time limit, so you have to finish that in the particular time. Okay, it's very interesting test. You have to actually take the test and see where you stand in your language abilities. It is a very interesting test. Okay, so and don't be scared if you are faring well, because I used to conduct this test in my when I was in the IT company, because we are involved in a lot of content preparation and website designing and all those kind of things. So we needed people who are very good in English. So I used to conduct this test for almost all the candidates. So, and if they fail in that step test, generally we return from them from there only, because my HR manager used to conduct this test, and people who have qualified or achieved certain level in the step test only who are actually sent to me for the next level of interview, or maybe the final face-to-face interview. Okay, so you can improve this thing. Okay, don't worry if you score low or something. With practice you can improve, and in that only you will get the you will get advices how to practice it. So all of you must take, okay, all of you after today's class, after the lunch break or after today's class, all of you should go and take this test and see where you stand in that. We can discuss the results tomorrow. Okay, don't worry if you are not scoring less. I'll tell you how to improve it also. Okay, so and maybe these are the tests and exercises. Okay, and there will be some companies who want creative people. They want like somebody selecting a design engineer. Okay, they will conduct some design test. They will tell you to do some design exercise, group discussion, group planning, all those kind of things will come. Okay, questions may be strength based or competency based. So your questions may be when see in most of the face-to-face interviews, when you go there, they'll ask. Even I used to do this thing. Because if I ask him who was the president of Czechoslovakia in 1959, he may not know. Okay, there is no point in asking such questions. We are not looking for a general knowledge guy or something. So what we do is I firstly ask him, what is your favorite subject? Okay, or what is a subject you like best? I will ask questions in your subject. Okay, so for that I need to do a lot of preparation. That's a different issue, because you have to do a lot of a lot of things. Otherwise you will not know whether he is actually telling the correct thing or not. So I'll generally offer, what is your favorite subject? I will ask questions in a favorite subject, because he will be very confident in his favorite subject. So if I ask a question, I can because he knows the subject, I can actually understand how deep he knows and how he puts across his points and how he's actually selling that point to me. Okay, otherwise if I ask him some vague questions, what is the political situation in USA in 1475 or something, it doesn't matter, because he may not be in that grid. So generally what interviewers do, they will ask you what is your strength, or what is your competency, what are you good at, what is your favorite subject, what is your work experience. So they will generally ask questions related to the things you already know, because if we do like that, we will understand you better. So most of the interview, never be scared of an interview. Okay, firstly, because don't approach an interview like an exam or a competitive exam. In a competitive exam they can ask anything. Okay, but in an interview they generally relate to you, because they will never ask vague questions to you in any case. Okay, so the questions may be strength based or competency based. So this is the basically norm followed by the people. Now there are telephonic interviews nowadays. Even earlier also telephonic interviews used to be there, because nowadays these vacancies come through Facebook or social media or some sites in the job sites, or or you can send the resume to HR manager of that particular company. So you will find so many candidates in the thing. Okay, now if a HR manager gets around 50 60 candidates or 100 candidates or 200 candidates, it is very difficult to sift through their data and select, do the selection. So now rather than selection, they do elimination first. You should be very aware of this thing. Okay, when you learn resume writing, you should understand this point, that your resume should be a resume which is not supposed to be eliminated, because whatever you make in a resume, the employer gets almost 20 to 30 seconds to scan your resume. So in that 30 seconds, either your resume is slaughtered for the next level, or your resume is put in the basket. Okay, it is gone. So it is the first 20 to 30 seconds which is taken by the employer to get an impression of your resume. So if your resume is very powerful, it will be taken and kept for the next level. If it is not powerful, it's not impressive, they will just throw it. Okay, so this is how the selection is done. And still they get a lot of candidates. Okay, there is no dearth of candidates. Still they get a lot of candidates. So what they do, sometimes some companies, so suppose the company is in Bangalore and they are calling application from all over Kerala. Okay, so it is not practical to call all of them there and interview them. So they will do a telephonic interview. So this HR manager and 2-3 people sit and do a telephonic interview. Telephonic interview is basically not a selection program, but it's a rejection program, isn't it? It's a elimination program. So if there are 100 candidates, they will do the telephonic interview. They will sift the resume and select 100 candidates, and then they will do telephonic interview for all those people. And out of this, they will shortlist 10 or 15 or 20 candidates. If their vacancies, for one vacancy, they can shortlist up to 10 candidates. Okay. So they will call these 10 candidates and then they will interview these candidates physically, maybe in their location. So this can you hear me? Can somebody respond? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, I think the connection, there is a disturbance going on in the network. I think they are working or something. So I'm now logging from the mobile. Okay, I hope the slides will come in next few minutes. So we'll continue the class. Okay, so. So where were we? Okay, we are talking about the interview, face-to-face interview, telephonic interview. Okay, so see, I am telling this, I am taking this entire class from the side of an employer, not a not a employee side. Okay, because I am telling you exactly what the companies are looking for, because I have been on the other side, and I am telling you how we process these things from the employer side. So okay, I think this will be more beneficial to you than any other type of class. Okay. So this telephonic, I told you, this is basically to eliminate people, eliminate extra people. So they filter, and they'll get into a figure, maybe 1:10 figure. Some companies follow 1:5. Some companies follow 1:10. So they'll get into this magic figure of 1:10. Okay. So and they conduct the interview. Now the next type of interview is video interview. Okay. So how do they conduct a video interview? So just like we are doing it now in a video conference. So you will find a panel of interviewer, or a single interviewer, or a panel of interviewer, and they will do like a face-to-face interview only. They will conduct it. So see, what is the importance of face-to-face interview from a telephone interview? Or maybe I'll say video also is a face-to-face interview. Okay. So what is the advantages of face-to-face interview for an employer? Can anybody say this? Can anybody answer my question? You can unmute and tell me. What is the advantage you think is there for face-to-face interview, or even a telephonic, even a video interview for an employer than a telephonic interview? Come on, any idea? Anybody? Anybody? Guys, don't be shy to answer. Okay, you will be sitting in front of an interview board very soon. Very soon, time will fly even before you know it. It flies, and very soon you will be sitting in front of a full-fledged interview board. Okay, if you are not able to answer my question through the network, I am not even sitting in front of you. So you have to answer. Okay, you have to respond. Okay, it may be wrong. Okay, don't be. Can see expressions. Correct, Niharika. Niharika, you have absolutely nailed the point. Can see expressions, body language. Okay. When an interview board is sitting, and the guy is sitting, the interviewed candidate is sitting in front of the board, they can see his every movement, his voice, his modulation, his facial expressions, his body language, his movements. It's like he's in a scanner. Okay. But if you are doing it through a remote telephone or something, in telephone you can see only hear only the voice. You can't even see the guy. In a video interview you can see the expressions up to a bit, but then he will be sitting in a totally different environment, and that seriousness doesn't come, and you cannot see the body language. So this is the problem when you are conducting a interview from a remote location. Okay, so you are very absolutely right. So this is a difference. So body language conveys more than your spoken language. Okay, we'll cover that in the further slides. I hope my network comes soon so that I can show these slides to you. Okay, let me try another network. One second. Yeah, can you see the slide now? Can somebody respond? Can you see the slide? Yeah, thank you. Okay, one second. Where were we? Okay, so this is the difference between a normal what do you call that classic interview and a online interview. Okay. Now the next type is assessment centers. So in some companies they want to conduct, like I told you, like we used to conduct the step test for English. Okay, so some companies want to conduct various kinds of attitude tests and such things. So these tests can be conducted only when they have got assessment centers. So they will have a huge center with their computers and all kind of things, and they will have their test conducting staff. So the moment you go there, they will give you a cup of coffee and take you to the center. They will conduct all the kind of tests, and they will screen you there only, and then they will actually send you to the interviewing officer. Okay. So they may conduct some kind of a normal test, like I told you, some kind of presentation, some small examinations, and some team exercises like group discussion, group planning or something, and some psychometric test. You know what is psychometric test? Anybody, any idea? What is psychometric test? Anybody? Psychometric tests are the tests basically conducted to understand your personality. Okay, there are different personality traits in people. Okay, so these psychometric tests are used to conduct certain personality types of the people. Okay, so you can understand whether you are an extrovert, introvert. Okay, what is the type of personality, and there are 16 combinations of personality, depending whether you are extrovert or introvert, you are a thinking or a judging person, you are a humorous person or a non-humorous person. So many this criteria is there. So there are 16 kinds of basic personalities, and some companies will take it very seriously. They will conduct the personality tests, and they will see if your personality is actually matching for their job description. This is called a psychometric test. Okay, and full working day and have more recently been adapted to be held online. So in assessment centers, you may have to spend a full working day conducting so many tests. Okay, like you must have heard about SSB interview. Okay, I think there are people from NCC and people who are aspiring to join defense forces here. Service selection board interviews held in service selection centers. They are the assessment centers. And what is the duration of the interview? Anybody? Any idea? What is the duration of a service selection board interview? Anybody? Any 5 days. Siddharth said very correctly. Siddharth says, yeah, 5 days. I think you are all very aware of SSB interviews. They will conduct test for 5 days, assessment test for 5 days continuously. Okay, and after that they will send you for a medical checkup, and that medical checkup takes another 5 days. Right from everything, they will be checking so many tests. They will be conducting so many tests, especially when you are going for a flying duty in Air Force or some naval aviation duty or something. Okay, so in the 5 days of this thing, they will make you do group discussion, speech, group planning, group tasks. Okay, you have to present a speech in front of everybody. Then there is an interview. There is a interview by the group discussion group officer, and there are outdoor tasks. There are physical tests. So there are 5 full days you will be in the assessment center, and you will be doing the tests in the center. Okay, and you will be selected only after doing all these things. So there are psychological tests and various psychological tests, various psychometric tests, the situational analysis test, thematic appreciation test. So many tests are there. So that is a perfect example of a very effective assessment center. So in the corporate sound, it is never that level, but they have taken the like I told you, there is an institution called DIPR, Defense Institute of what do you call that, psychological research. Okay, so they have made a lot of test batteries, especially for the armed forces, but then nowadays they are giving that to certain companies also, who are MNCs and all, who want to select the right candidates. Okay, so this is the importance of assessment centers. So I think now we have got a very good idea of how important your interview thing is. Okay, so generally people take it very lightly. ഞാൻ ഇന്റർവ്യൂവിന് പോവാണ്, കുറച്ച് പഠിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്, കുറച്ച് പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. So this thing, what do you call that, this interview is a very important aspect, and you have to actually take it very seriously. Okay, now moving on. So this is a typical interview panel. What you see on the screen is a typical interview panel in a normal company. Okay, in a face-to-face conventional interview. So candidate is sitting facing the other side, and on the interview panel here, you see one management rep or chief of the interview board, and one HRM candidate, human resource manager, and one subject expert. So you may be interviewed for a particular task like Java programming or something like that. There will be an expert of that particular subject in the interview board, and the guy who's sitting in the middle, he is the chief of the board, and he is the guy who's actually calling the shots. And HR manager will ask you HR related questions like your expectation of a salary, what was your last salary, all those kind of things. He will so this is the typical interview board. So sometimes you may find more than 3 experts. Okay, this I have given a representation. Sometimes you will find only the management guy sitting there, and he will be taking the interview alone. Sometimes you will find management guy and an expert only. And HR is generally sometimes HR is taking the interview, and HR is actually calling the decision. So this is a typical interview panel, and sometimes you will find 5 or 6 people sitting there. Okay, in senior positions and very good positions and very sensitive positions, you will find 6 or 7 people sitting in the interview board, and all of them will ask you different questions. Like in SSB, in the final interview, into the final interview, that's called a conference. It's called a conference in which the entire SSB selection board of 6 or 7 people will be sitting, including the president of the board. The president generally don't come in a face-to-face interaction, but in the last meeting, the last interview, you are sitting away from the board, and you will find 7 or 8 people sitting there, and they are asking you questions. Okay, so this kind of interview is also possible. So this is a typical interview panel. So hope you are very clear to this point. Now we can move forward. Now what will you take when you go for an interview? Okay, so when you are going for a conventional interview, what will you take? Firstly, you have to take your interview invitation or letter you receive from the company. Sometimes you receive a mail, so better take a printout of the mail and keep it in a folder. Okay, you need a photo ID like Aadhaar card or something, because they may ask you the identification. You just walk in there with a letter. They don't know who is this guy who is coming with the letter. You may not be you, but you have to actually, first they will ask you your Aadhaar card or something. Okay, then you need to have a CV. Your CV has to be taken there. And academic certificates and work examples. If you are a designer or a website designer or someone, you can have work examples. Okay, if you got some already got some work. Okay, otherwise you take your academic certificate and experience certificate. Then pen and notebook, you have to take a small notebook and a pen, because sometimes they'll tell you to do something, so you have to take a notebook and a pen. And breathe mints and gum. See, very important thing. Okay, when you are sitting across the board, see, we don't actually give attention to various factors. Okay, suppose you go to the interview, you after your food you get some food from there, and you got some vada or some and after some time, some of us will have a smell in the mouth. So once we go inside the interview room and we speak, they'll get a very bad impression. Oh, this. Just imagine you are sitting in an interview, and the guy who is sitting in front of you, when he is talking, there is a bad smell coming. You will not like him. You will try to actually finish the interview very fast. Okay, so these are the things which are very irritating. Okay, so you take the mints or bubble gum, the chewing gum or breath mints, that polo or something, so that if you just eat it, that bad smell will go and pleasant smell will come. Take a bottle of water, because you will get dehydrated. You will be waiting for the interview, you will be traveling and then waiting for the interview. You may get dehydrated, and when people get dehydrated, you know what happens when people get dehydrated? Any idea? Any idea what happens? Can anybody answer? What will happen if you get slightly dehydrated? Anybody? Anybody? See, try to participate. Okay, try to participate. Anybody, please type. Anybody? Waiting, still waiting. I'm still waiting. What will happen? Yeah, weakness. Okay, weakness is very right. You're right. Weakness is right. Now, you know what happens? Not only weakness, but when you get dehydrated, your brain, the water supply and blood supply in your brain becomes less. Okay, then your ability to think, your cognizance ability, actually goes down a bit. So your performance in an interview may actually be affected. So people ask you to take some, in North India and all, people ask students to take a bit of curd with a spoon of sugar before going to the examinations. It's a tradition in North India. When just before going to examination, they eat a bowl of curd with a spoon of sugar. Okay, what I understood is that is because when you eat sugar, your sugar supply in your brain will be good, so your brain will work faster, it will work with a more efficiency. And when you take this curd, the curd will actually make create water retention in your body for some time. Okay, water will retain in your body, it will not be filtered out. Okay, so when your body has got some kind of a water storage, water retention, and then a bit of sugar, what they traditionally believe in North India, traditionally people follow this thing. Before exams, they take a small bowl of curd with a spoon of sugar. Okay, I don't know the scientific thing, but this is what I feel it is. But when you are going for interview, definitely carry a bottle of water and sip the water in between, so that you get hydrated and your brain works with full efficiency. Okay, so you have to take money and transport money for transport and food. Sometimes you may have to eat food from outside, then you have to do reservations if you are going to some other city. All those preparations you have to do. Okay, and in addition to the online interviews, so for online interviews, sometimes what happens, they will call you to interview center and still you will have an online interview. You will find 3 or 4 people sitting in front of you, and sometimes you will be told to log in on, and you will find 5 people coming together. There also one guy is sitting in front of you, and they will tell you to log on, or they will use their own computer, and then they will actually get some other people from some other cities also through the online. So it is a mix of online and face to face also. So if you want to do an online interview, you have to check your computer, laptop, and headset and earphone, microphones, and just like I am facing now, you may have faced network problems, and you have to be careful about the network problems. You have to have the alternate network. Okay, my actual network hasn't come yet. Okay, it is for so long, then it's a fiber connection, it's a gigahertz fiber connection, but network is out. So just imagine the irony. In a fiber connection, I am not getting a network, I am using my this thing hotspot to teach you now. Okay, so this may happen in interviews also. So you should have alternate network connection. And today I am smoothly conducting because I am playing my slide from my tab, and I am playing my voice from my mobile phone. So I am not using laptop because of the network issue. Okay, so this is the thing. This is how you have to prepare. Okay, now coming to a dress code, very important part. Okay, see, it was said by Shakespeare that apparel often proclaims a man. You must have heard this. Not only man, woman also. Okay, your dress code actually carries a lot of weight in creating an impression. If you are actually wearing very nice dress, very good tailor fit dress, the impression which you create once you walk into a room is totally different. You know why people get attracted to men in uniform. Okay, army, navy, air force, police officers. Okay, they stand in uniform, and the uniform carries a lot of weight. And if they are and they are generally impeccable. So if you see the people in armed forces and police force and all are, when they stand erect, and they have been taught to groom themselves like that. Okay, and they wear an attractive uniform which is tailor made and very fit to them in the same pattern, and the accoutrements they wear. So they look very, very nice, and the people actually like to look at them. Okay, so it is basically because of, firstly because of the dress, secondly because of grooming. Because you will find all these people in the uniform, they have actually done a good haircut. They are not having a beard, mostly not having a beard. If they got a mustache, they trim the mustache to some in a very attractive fashion. So basically they groom themselves, and their nails are cut. They stand in erect posture. They behave in a particular way. So during the training period, they have been taught like that. So that is why if a forces guy is walking in the civil street in a civil uniform, you will identify him. If a policeman is walking in his mufti dress in the town, readily you can identify that is a police guy from his haircut, from the kind of dress he is wearing, and the way he is walking and talking and behaving, isn't it? So this actually creates a lot of impression. Okay, so it is better to wear full sleeve formal shirt, solid colored suit. If you are going into some other city, in Kerala we don't generally wear the suits. So if you are going to some other city, you have to wear the suit, which is basically solid color or dark colored. Basically I prefer either black or blue, and generally I prefer blue more, because blue is neither totally black or totally gaudy. It's somewhere in between black and other colors. And sometimes I prefer gray, dark gray color. So wear some solid color suit and matching trousers. It is better to have a lounge suit. Okay, this what you see in the picture is a two-piece lounge suit with tie. Okay, so it's better to have this kind of a dress, or sometimes I used to wear three-piece suits also. So you can have a three-piece also if it is very cold or something in Delhi or something. Okay, otherwise you can wear this two piece suits, and wear a good shoe. See, an official shoe is basically, there is a shoe called Oxford pattern shoe, OP shoe, we call it OP shoe, or there is a shoe called Brogues, Brouges, Brogues. Okay, these are the formal shoes. These shoes are generally formal shoes. Other shoes like that Woodland shoe comes, sweet shoe and everything, they are not actually not formal. So you either you wear this Brogues or Oxford pattern shoe. These two shoes are actually, it gives you a lot of formality. Okay. See, when you are going for a totally formal interview, you have to present yourself a serious, formal, professional person, not a just a happy-go-lucky person. Okay. Socks must be clean and not smelly. This is the greatest problem with the socks. Okay, especially with the guys like me. Okay, we do a lot of activity, and sometimes socks start smelling. So you have to every day you have to ensure when you are going for an interview, you have to ensure that your socks is not becoming smelly. Some of us got a smelly feet problem. Okay, so you have to use foot powder, and so if you go from your house at maybe 7 o'clock in the morning, interview at 12 o'clock, your socks may start slightly smelling. So use food powder. There is something called food powder. Use that food powder. Okay. Tie is necessary. In a formal interview, definitely you have to wear tie, and that too a striped tie. Don't wear gaudy design tie like see in the picture, striped tie, and leather belt in trousers. Even if you are wearing, it is better to wear a leather belt. And all clothes should be clean and ironed. Everything should be very clean and ironed. Now, how will you groom as a man? Firstly, clean shaven look is generally preferred in an environment. Okay. However, if you do have a beard or a mustache, you have to trim it and groom it well. You have to make it in a very attractive fashion. It is not a sin to have a mustache, or it's not a sin to have a beard, but you have to keep it very well. You have to trim your fingernails, because when you are handing over the resume, when you are talking, when you are sitting, they will observe your fingernails. Your fingernails should be very clean, and those who are actually having longer fingernails should make it clean. Otherwise, you should trim your fingernails. And brushed and formal hairstyle. Hairstyle should be totally formal. It should not be like Tindu style, because it should be in a very formal and very good style. Should wear a mild fragrance. This also we generally ignore. I should actually wear a mild, very mild, not very sharp, scent or something, but very mild fragrance of a good quality, very pleasant quality. Because see, basically when you are going there and talking to them, you are trying to attract them to select you, isn't it? So if you are going in a very groomed fashion, and when you see a person, he uses a particular kind of perfume. Okay, you start associating the good smell, the good smell of that perfume with that guy over a period of time. Okay, so when you are walking inside a interview room, that smell comes first. Okay, that slight smell comes first, and if the smell is liked by people, they subconsciously start liking you. I'm telling you, it's a fact. They subconsciously start liking you, and they'll say, okay, this guy is good. The first impression is very good. That good smell comes, and behind that, well groomed you come, and you sit down, and then you start talking. So the impression is made. Okay, if just imagine some guy who's got unkempt hair, and his dress is totally gone because he has traveled in a bus or something, and he's not kept his nails properly, and he's not wearing anything, and he is totally is in sweat, and when he comes in, sweat smell comes in, and then the interview and the interviewer is like, yeah, just end this interview. Okay, let this guy go. They'll get irritated. So this is very, very important. Okay, sometimes you may feel, so is it such a great thing? Yes, it is a great thing, because this is going to decide whether you are selected or not. So it's a great thing in your career and in your life. Okay, now moving forward, how will the woman groom? One second, right? Yeah, I think it has come now. Okay. So now ladies has got two options. Either you can have a dress code of a Indian style or a Western style. In some places they say a long suit or combination, so you don't have any option. You have to actually go in a Western style. And in some place they say Indian oblique Western style. Sometimes they'll say salwar kameez, because unlike men, ladies have got a lot of options to wear dress decently. Men have actually it's a very thing of pity that the men folks have very less options of wearing attractive dress, and everything is actually made for women, isn't it? I think the girls will agree. Okay, so however, finding it out before attending the interview will help. Okay, if you have a doubt, you ask the interviewer. You must have got a mail or something. You ask them, please sir or ma'am, what is the dress code expected out of me? Okay, so in Indian wear, salwar kurta is acceptable, sari is also okay, salwar kurta is also okay, but they all should have a formal look. So sari you can wear in different ways, okay, but there is a formal way of wearing Indian sari where the IAS officers and all those people use in official functions. So you can see it from the net, how do they wear sari officially. Okay, you can wear that, or you can wear salwar kurta or Indian dress, okay, or you can have a vest, cotton or muslin sari. Okay, cotton or muslin sari kurta preferably solid colored or having subtle prints. Either print should be very sober or should be solid color. You cannot go like some kind of a theyyam or something colorful dress. That gives a very bad impression in formal interviews. Okay. Now no flashy color or patterns. So I told you again, it should not be too flashy. It should not be too boring also. It should be interesting but sober. Okay. No jeans and leggings. Jeans is a no-no for men or women. Jeans is a no-no for interview until and unless it is a creative interview where they say, okay, come in the dress you please, and come whatever you are, you come here. So that's a different issue. But for any MNC job or any serious interview, formal interview, leggings and jeans are totally no-no. It is salwar and the kurta, okay, or sari or a western dress. If wearing a western dress can go for formal suit, same as men's interview dress code. So I shown you that men's interview dress code, same dress is worn by so many ladies in North and all, in Delhi, Gurgaon and all. For normal working, also they wear same kind of a dress. So that can be worn by for interview by the ladies also. Now trousers or formal shirts both are acceptable. If wearing skirts, wearing stockings are necessary. Some people wear skirts, especially in North. Some people wear skirts. Okay. So when wearing skirts, stockings has to be worn. So too much of exposure is bad. Okay. Now formal shoes or solid colored pumps are acceptable. Either we wear formal shoes. Ladies has got a slightly relaxation. So you can wear different colors of pumps, pump shoes. It can be worn. Okay. No flashy jewelry. You cannot have too much of jewelry. You can have minimal accoutrements. Okay. So here minimalism is the key word for ladies here. Make everything minimal. Okay. If you are wearing a ear stud, wear the least conspicuous small one. Okay. If you are wearing a pendant, wear a small one with a very thin chain or something. Don't wear too much of a jewelry. Okay. Don't wear all your bangles. You can have a watch. You can have maybe one very attractive bangle, but don't wear too much of thing. Okay. So wedding ring and such things are not a problem. Okay. So all clothes should be cleaned and ironed as I mentioned in case of men. Okay. Now you have to do grooming. Okay. Wear a mild perfume. See, perfume is very important when you are going for interview. Okay. You have to wear a perfume and you have to have actually a taste. Okay. So generally what I recommend for boys, men, with musk, very slight musk odor. Musk odor is very attractive for men, and for women, this can be either aqua or floral. So floral scents without various notes. Okay, go for one note like jasmine or rose petal smell or one note. Otherwise, it should not become a bouquet of flowers. There are so many floral perfumes which gives so many different notes. So it is better to actually wear a single note. Musk is generally attractive for men. Musk or old leather is generally attractive for men, and floral, basically single floral or slightly aqua is good for ladies. Okay. No makeup look. See, I said no makeup look. I didn't say no makeup. Okay. Makeup always enhance your personality. Have mild makeup. A slight coat of lipstick and all are not bad. But don't give a look that you are already made up and all. It should not be. It will be inconspicuous. So that can be used. Okay. Now, Hair should be either tied to a low bun. Either you can make a bun of the hair, or it should be open hair in your is your preference. You can have an open hair also depending on your hairstyle. It should be well brushed and tucked away from the face. No messy hair. So messy hair is not permitted. If you groom it properly, you can have the kind of hair which suits most your personality. Trimmed fingernails with nude color or no nail paint. Either have very that nude color means the finger color. Very mild painting. Sometimes you will find the people going for interview with a thick coat of lipstick and green fingernail paints and all. That will be totally out of place. So see, ultimately the question is, whatever you are doing is to enhance your personality. Men or women, the dress you are wearing, the grooming you are doing, the perfume you are wearing, everything is to enhance your personality. So they should all give more force to your personality rather than creating distractions. So this is the thing you have to actually remember when you are preparing for an interview. Okay. Now there are certain casual interview setups. Okay. Now what I told you is formal interview, which happens generally 90% formal interview happens. Now in some companies and some setups they'll look for casual interview. So this casual interview setup for men, there is some relaxation. Okay, you can have colorful tie, you can have semi-formal dress. Okay, you can wear cotton pants and all, leather shoes you can wear, colorful ties, and formal trousers is not necessary. Cotton, you can wear cotton pants. So this is there. And for women, salwar kameez, sari or western dress, all are acceptable. But still need to pay attention to the color and patterns of attire. So they should not be loud, because somebody walking into an interview, everyone should not start looking into a dress only. They should look at you as a person. If you wear very colorful, out of the way things, they will start appreciating a dress and not you, isn't it? But dress is supposed to actually help in enhancing your personality, not overtaking your personality. So remember this point. See, the dress is basically to enhance your personality, not to overtake your personality. Okay. So this is the thing. Okay. 1 second. I think my network is back. No. Yeah, network is back. Okay, I think I have come to the main system. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can somebody respond? I'm back in my laptop.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Anurag. Okay. So ultimately, whatever you are wearing should actually support your personality. It is supposed to actually accentuate your personality and not to overtake your personality. Okay, please remember, your dress should not overtake you. Dress should actually support you to project yourself as a very efficient person, a very attractive person. Okay. Now, when you are waiting in the lobby for an interview, okay, there are some lobby etiquettes. Okay, most of the time you will be sitting in a lobby and waiting for your turn. So your interview actually starts right when you enter the premises, long before you entrance to the interview room. Okay, this means the moment you enter a building, okay, so many people are watching you. Your HR manager is watching you, other employees are watching you. There will be some other people. Sometimes they were actually told to watch you. Okay, so you are waiting for the interview. What all are you are doing? So this is watched by other people. Okay. So even when you are sitting in the lobby waiting for the interview, you should have correct attitude, positive body language. Sometimes somebody will start biting nails and becoming very tense. So the HR manager will tell the boss, okay, that sir, this boy was very tense. You have to see, because I think he cannot take tension. Okay. So this kind of things will happen, isn't it? Okay. So correct attitude, positive body language, expression of necessary skills, and maintaining decorum of the lobby. The lobby decorum has to be maintained by you. And lobby etiquettes, don't be overconfident. Okay, one should never be overconfident. Sometimes some people will become so overconfident that they started dictating to others. They start teaching others and all. They start picking up argument with others. Never do this. Be professional. You are dressed as a professional, behave as a professional. Be humble and polite, and control the signs of nervousness, like shaking legs. Sometimes people will keep shaking legs. Sometimes they'll rub their palms together. Sometimes they will bite the nail. Sometimes they will keep sweating. So all these signs of nervousness should be avoided. Don't slouch on the couch or chair. When you're sitting, sit straight. Even when you're sitting in the waiting lobby, don't slouch. Don't become too casual. And sit on in an upright and attentive position. You have to sit upright and attentive position, and don't be impatient. Sometimes people ask you, what time is my interview? I was told to come at 10 o'clock. Now it's already 10:30. Why am I not called? So they'll start asking that guy there. Okay. So how the manager thinks, the interview board thinks. They say, okay, this guy don't have a patience for this interview. How is going to work in our organization? Because there are so much of tasks in the organization. If he's so impatient, how can we depend on him as an employee in our organization? They will straight away reject you. Okay. So this your interview starts the moment you step into the premises of the interview and not in the interview room. Okay. Interview room is the final interview. So you are in the show window the moment you step in there. So behave thinking that your interview has already started. Behave in a gentlemanly way or a ladylike way. And as I told you, hide all the signs of nervousness. Okay. Now coming to the next slide. When you're entering the interview room, see, you must get a little bored when I'm telling in such detail. But each and everything you hear now is totally important, and it is actually going to play a very great role in your life. Okay, in your life and career. What I'm telling you is very, very important. So at the cost of making you bored, I will actually tell it in a very detailed way. Okay. So firstly, before entering the interview room, you must be sitting somewhere. Get up, straighten your dress and tie, etc., and remove wrinkle from your dress. Go and knock on the door. Okay. Sometimes it is open door, sometimes it's closed door. It is closed door. Knock and half open and say, "Sir, may I come in, please?" Look at the people sitting there. "May I come in, please?" And once you enter, you close the door. Okay, you close the door, and then you turn and wish. Okay, don't just open the door and go inside, keeping the door open. Close the door, turn and close the door, then turn and wish them and make a slight bow with your head. And then you have to make eye contact with everybody and have a slight smile. Okay, if you do this up to this thing correctly, you have already got the attention of the interview board in a positive way. Okay, you have to always have a light smile. One should not grin like a donkey. Okay, smile means it is like smiling is totally different. When I was a young officer, I used to always smile, and my seniors used to like me a lot. Okay, but they used to say the one positive quality of this guy is he always smile. So I was just 20, 21 that time. So they used to say that this guy is always smiling under whatever pressure. He keeps smiling, and we like his quality. So another officer was there. So one day one senior officer bullshitted him. So he came and he asked me, "Sir, when you are smiling, it is a good quality." I smiled at him, and then he bullshitted me. "Why are you smiling like a donkey?" So later on, I asked the officer, "So and so was telling that you bullshitted him of smiling." So he says, when you smile in a positive way and you smile at the right place. But when I'm telling him something seriously, he's smiling like a donkey. I got irritated. So smile is also a very good thing, but you have to know where to smile and up to what level. Smile should not become a grin. Grin is grin. You should not show your teeth when you're smiling. Okay, it is a slight smile, a pleasant arrangement of facial muscles when you enter a room. Okay, stand with ease and confidence. You should actually emanate confidence and sit only when you are asked to. Just don't go and sit there. If they are not asking you, go and stand behind the chair. Okay, waiting for them to say, and they will tell you to sit. Just don't go and sit there. And once you sit comfortably means you have to sit straight, and you have to hand over. Sometimes you have to hand over the dossier with your documents. Okay, otherwise you keep the documents in your lap. Okay, and you sit there with a you should not cross your legs when you're sitting. Okay, you sit in a very comfortable position. Place your hand on your dossier or on your chair armrest. Okay, and don't fidget, don't move, make unnecessary movement. Never ever cross your arms and legs, because crossing arms and legs are a way of negative feedback. That means you are hiding something. It gives a barrier between interview board and you. You should never cross your legs or arms when you are sitting in front of an interview board. You should give an open position. Okay, and now you look attentively and with a lot of enthusiasm into all of their eyes, mostly at the guy sitting in the center, and you can look at the other people also. Don't stare, look in their eyes and lean forward a bit, because if you lean forward a bit, that shows interest. Okay, when you're leaning a bit forward, that shows a lot of interest. If you are leaning back, that means you are actually, you are not attending to them. That's a kind of psychological impression you make. Keep eye contact and smile. So this slight smile should always be in your this thing, and somebody is looking at you, you can give us a slight smile, okay, and wait for them to ask something. Just don't go and barge in an interview. Just wait for them, just smile and sit. Sometimes just to test you, they will take 2 or 3 minutes to talk, okay. They will keep seeing your dossier. Sometimes they look at you, then see your dossier, just to make you nervous, okay. But you just be calm, okay, and you start when they ask questions. Now moving on. Now once you start, the proper interview starts, you have to see your body language. No crossing, no fidgeting, no unnecessary movements, no looking here and there. Okay, when sometimes they'll shake hands with you, the chief or anybody will shake hands with you. Have a good firm shake hand. That for boys, I'm telling you, don't squeeze, okay. Some of the athletes, they think handshake, warm handshake is strong handshake. It is not strong handshake, but it's a warm, firm. There is a difference between firm and strong, okay. Strong means you're crushing the other guy's hand, and all 7 bones in their palm will be crushed. But the firm handshake is you are actually sincerely and shaking their hand with a firm grip, not a strong grip, okay. Maintain eye contact at all time. Keep a hint of a smile in your lips. Don't grin, okay. I'll told you again, don't grin, just have a hint of a smile in your lips and a pleasant face, and pay attention to your voice. Whatever you are talking, you should pay attention to your voice also. You should not get too agitated. Please speak slowly. Please speak very confidently, and use modulated volume, okay. You have to do, yesterday we learned about modulation in group discussion. Modulated volume, and talk in a very polite manner. You have to talk in a very, very polite manner to your people, and don't get excited. Sometimes people get excited, okay. Try to control excitement, and don't talk too fast or too slow. Sometimes you tend to talk too fast. Like I'm a fast talker, okay. I'm a naturally fast talker. I try to talk slowly throughout my life. I found it very difficult to talk slowly, because thoughts will come very fast in my mind, and I have to express it. Otherwise, I get confused if I don't talk fast. So sometimes I tell people when I'm interacting, I used to tell that I'm a fast talker, because if I talk slowly, I get a bit confused, because it's my habit to talk fast. And sometimes people accept that, sometimes they don't. So if you can talk not very slowly, not too slowly, not too fast, in a speed which is acceptable by the other people, okay, where they can totally assimilate you. Now both of them are signs of don't talk too fast and too slow are signs of nervousness, okay. Sit straight and slightly leaning forward. Look attentive. Don't look at the ceiling or away from the people. At whatever point, don't start looking at the fan or looking at the light or looking left and right. You look at the people, okay, in a calm way, and talk only when they stop. Don't interrupt or interject. Talk only when they stop. They ask you a question, then you answer. If somebody is talking in between, don't talk cutting in, okay. Don't interrupt the interviewer. Never ever interrupt the interviewer. He is asking some, yes sir, I know sir, that is the no, don't do that, okay. First hear him out properly, and then you put your point, okay. Now when you are leaving, it's again a very important thing, okay. You have to collect all the documents, your dossier and everything. You get up, you thank the panel. Firstly, you thank you sir, thank you ma'am. You thank the panel, then give a smile and wish good day sir, good evening sir, or good evening ma'am, and good evening to all of you. So wish as per the panel, and then you leave. You go open the door, and once you open the door, you get out, and once more you look at the panel, and just bow with your head before you closing the door. Just give a smile before you closing the door, okay. That is very important, okay. You just can't walk out just like that. You just go open the door, get out, and put your head and just bow your head and give a slight smile, and then close the door and leave quietly, okay. And whenever you're opening door or closing door, it should be very quiet. You should not make dum noise, with banging the door. So maintain decorum till you leave the building. Your decorum should be maintained till you leave the building. You should be in the interview, okay. So do that. Now what will you do after the interview? Okay, you have to find out the outcome. Some of the companies never contact the people who have actually not selected. They will only contact the people who are selected at each stage, because it will become a lot of load for the HR and all to contact everybody in most cases. So and they will tell you also, we will contact you if you are selected. But nevertheless, you can send a mail, or you can actually talk to them, and find out what is the stage. Okay, especially when it's become too late, they take too much of time. And you can send a email to them thanking them for giving an opportunity. That's also possible. And these kind of things actually these kind of things create a lot of difference. Okay, I'll tell you an example. When I was in IT Park Trishur, one guy came to me for an interview, and he was a very nice guy from Kannur. Okay, and we couldn't select him because of certain other things, because we found another candidate with same capability agreeing to work for less remuneration. So because he was coming from Kannur, that guy was a localite, so obviously he can always work for less money. So we got him, but this guy called me and he sent me an email thanking me and all, that time. And he sent to the HR, and HR told me, sir, this guy was very nice, and he actually thanked, and very nice guy. And later when I came to Kannur, and in an organization, when there was a vacancy, I specifically called this guy, and I told their management that I know a guy who's a very good guy. And then I actually ensured that this guy go to that organization. Okay, so I was in a different organization, he came for interview there. But when I came to this place, so from another district, unexpectedly he got a direct offer for a job, just because he was a good candidate, and I knew that he was very nice in the follow-up action. Okay, straight away he was called, and I told the management, interview him, that management, and they interviewed him, and they found out, sir, we got a very good candidate, thank you for recommending him, he's a nice guy, he's worth his weight in gold. So he got straight away, he got a job. So this is the kind of difference it makes. Okay, whatever you do, whoever you meet, they will all become a network. So never ever stop making networks. Okay, so make some notes about the question that they were asked there. Whatever they were asked in the interview, make the notes of the question, because they will be asked you again, and you can understand where you went wrong, and you can actually correct it. So this will help you to prepare even better in the future interviews. Now, the potential outcome, if you are a success, if you are offered a job, make sure it's right for you, and discussing it with friends. Okay, if you are offered a job, find out everything about job before finally accepting it, and double check details such as the salary before deciding whether to accept. Okay, if you are rejected, don't be too overwhelmed, too downhearted, because there are so many employees there. Okay, there are a large number of applications, and they have selected some people, so it's not a bad thing if you lose an interview. It's okay, you actually got an experience of attending it. Email the company to thank them for the opportunity, and request feedback from your interview, so that you can improve your performance next time. So you can request a feedback from the HR. So generally they are very nice people. They generally, if they are not too busy, they actually give a feedback. Okay, sir, where did I went wrong, can you tell me? Or ma'am, where did I went wrong, can you tell me? And you may get some advice. And if you do this kind of a contact, so when the next opportunity come in the same company, they will remember you. Okay, or all these people who are the managers and HR and interview panelists, and everybody is working for so many people. Like myself, I work for as a consultant to so many people. So when I get a chap for one company, he was not accepted in there, I can always pitch that guy for the other company. Okay, if I like that guy. So you should always have good relation with these people. Okay, you should never leave out the networking. So interviews are typically final stage in the application process, as I told you in the beginning. Okay, but if the employer is not able to actually make a decision about you, he took somebody, and for the next interview he may call you again, because okay, these 4 or 5 candidates are very good, they came here, I had only 2 vacancies, so I couldn't take these 3 guys, they were also good. So when the next vacancy comes, he will call you. Okay, so be in touch with the interviewers and the organization to have good results. And in any case, if you make a network, okay, if you make a network, the network will work after some time. All these people who are going ahead in their career, they are the people who are making and maintaining networks. Okay, they work for some company, the HR manager there, they are in good terms with the HR manager, and after 10 years they go to some other company, they'll find the same HR manager sitting there as a CEO or a chief operating officer or something. And oh, you were in that company with me, right? Yes sir, I was in that company with, oh, I remember you, you did a nice work, and your chance of getting selected in that company on a higher position is very, very nice, is very high, isn't it? So network always works, whomever you are working with. See, this is why we tell people to always have a good relation with your seniors in the college. Okay, I'll just take 2 minutes to tell the importance of this. Okay, so you got so many seniors in the college. You are in first year, there are 4 years. Okay, when you are about to pass out, these 4th year students who are today will be some of the at the managerial position in many companies, and they will be involved in the interview board. Okay, so if you don't behave to them properly, if you don't give them respect, പറയാ ഇവനല്ല എന്നെ അന്ന് വേണ്ടാത്ത പറഞ്ഞ് ക്യാൻറ്റീൻ്റെ അടുത്ത് എന്നെ പിടിച്ച് ഉന്തിയതാണ് ഇവന്, അന്നത്തെ പ്രശ്നം ഉണ്ടായപ്പോൾ എന്നെ കിട്ട് പണിതവനാ, അവനെങ്ങോട്ട് വരട്ടെ, ഞാൻ അവന് ഇതാവില്ല. ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ, സോ ഐ ഗോട്ട് എ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ, ഐ വിൽ ആൻസർ ദാറ്റ്, നിഹാരിക. ഓക്കെ, സോ ഇത് ഈ രീതിയിലുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടാവും കേട്ടോ. സോ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് വൈ യു ഷുഡ് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് റെസ്പെക്ടിങ് യുവർ സീനിയേഴ്സ് റൈറ്റ് ഫ്രം യുവർ ഫസ്റ്റ് ടേം. Okay, when you are in first term, the third term guy, third semester guy is a senior. Okay, so you should have that kind of a relationship, because mostly when by the time you pass out, all your seniors must be in some position, and many of them will be involved in the interview as a HR manager or a operating officer or a operational guy or a subject expert or some in some capacity. You will find them actually sitting in interview boards or something in some of the companies. So have that professional relationship with your seniors right from the college. Okay, this is what we should actually follow in all the institutions. Now you have to do some research before you do the interview. What is the sector of that company? What are the challenges faced by the company? Who are the competitors of that company? What is the major projects of the company? Culture and values of that company. You have to do this from the internet. Some companies are highly stressed, especially PricewaterhouseCoopers and McKinsey, something like that. So even though you get a very great opportunity and a lot of money and everything, they are highly stressed companies. The family life in McKinsey, there was a story that McKinsey's most of the employees, a large majority of the employees are divorced. Okay, I don't know how it is now. There was a book called McKinsey Mind and McKinsey Way, two books. Okay, I learned it, studied it when I was your age. So they say ki most of the employees in McKinsey, all senior employees are divorced because they don't have the time to pursue a family life. Okay, that time, I don't know how it is now. So you will find different kinds of culture. Some company have got good work life balance, some has got only work no life, some has got a lot of fun like Google. Okay, so you have to finish. I am not saying that is good or bad. Some people will like that. Okay, they don't want the family life, they want a very high flying professional life, they want to fly from Japan to America to England, so that is their choice. So there are companies who can accommodate them. So you have to see what is the history of your employer. You have to do that research, and that is a role you are looking for, the job description, how your skills will match with that, why you want the job, and your understanding of the role, and why the employer should choose you over the other candidates. These kind of things you should do a research before going for the interview, and you think about this and you find the answers. Okay, you find the answers from these questions, then you will do a good interview in your the thing. Okay, now coming to the interview panel. Okay, who will be interviewing you? You should find out. You can find out from the, sometimes they'll tell you will be interviewed by so and so. They'll send you email. Okay, if there is a name, find out from LinkedIn. Like I know a friend who was going for an interview in Bangalore, in a Bangalore company, and he was going in a senior position. So the CEO himself was interviewing him. Okay, CEO himself of the company was interviewing him. So from the LinkedIn, he found out that CEO is actually very fond of classical music, and this guy actually learned classical music in his childhood, and he was also fond of it. So when they started discussing hobbies and all, he said, "Sir, I like the classical music. I like this kind of classical music or Carnatic style." And they started discussing about Hindustani style and Carnatic style and Agra Gharana and Gwalior Gharana. And they got through as a person. Okay, from person to person, they made a very good rapport before, during that interview, and then surely he was selected. Okay, so if you look at the LinkedIn profile of all these people and Facebook profile of all these people, you can find a lot of input about the interviewer, and you can see if there are some common interests between you and the interviewer. You can actually bring that in when they are discussing your personality, background and skills and hobbies and all, and then you can actually impress them, and you can actually establish a bond between the interviewer and you, and surely you will be selected. Okay, so in the about us section of the company website, you can find out some details. Their personal interest and experience can be found out from LinkedIn and Facebook and everything. Okay, so you try to relate with that and you can impress them. Now, common interview questions, we all know. You select the you search the Google saying common interview questions, you will find a lot of questions you would like to ask the interviewer. There are sometimes they will ask, would you like to ask us something? There may be some questions you would like to ask the interviewer. Okay, so you have to prepare for that. These things you will straight away get from the net. I don't want to waste time on these things. You will get from the net. Okay, now when and where there's an interview taking place, you have to find out where is the interview, when is the interview. You have to do your journey planning. You have to manage your equipment, your mobile, your laptop, whatever you want to take, and you ensure that you eat healthy food. It's not that you eat shawarma and go to Bangalore and you get a stomach upset and you get into trouble. It has happened before. You must have seen in paper. Okay, so when you are going, going somewhere away, take healthy food. Take limited quantity healthy foods. Keep yourself hydrated and keep yourself totally healthy and adequately hydrated. I told you. Okay, now coming to the practice part of it. So attend mock interviews. You can among yourself you can organize mock interviews. You can write and practice answers to common interview questions. You can record yourself as an interview and you can analyze it later. I used to actually practice this kind of give this kind of practice to students when the colleges were open. Now through the internet is very difficult. Through the Google Meet is very difficult. It can be done to some extent, but you will not actually get the feel of that. Okay, so you record that in your mobile phone. So see, somebody is conducting a mock interview, somebody is recording it, and after that you are watching it again and again to find out where you faltered. Okay, test your equipment online for the online interview. So all these practices can be done by you to get some experience in interview. How can you make good impression? There are four tips. One is punctuality. You have to be very punctual in interviews. You have to actually give positivity. Like I told you, your dress, demeanor, your perfume, your attitude, your smile, your body language, everything should actually show a lot of positivity and a lot of enthusiasm. Your politeness, everything. Okay, your body language should be very good, very open, very warm, and very endearing. Okay, and your smile, your eye contact, everything matters. And whatever you say, whatever you answer, give a lot of clarity in that. It should be very clear. It is okay to think a bit and answer. It's not a problem. Okay, it's not that when you are asking a question, you are firing like a machine gun. No, it's not required. Okay, when they're asking question, yes sir, you can think, and then you can think for 30 seconds and then you can answer. Okay, so that's also a good thing. If required, please go ahead like that. Okay, so if you don't understand a question, just don't answer blindly. Sir, I couldn't understand the question. Do you mean this thing? You can take a clarification. That's not a problem. Okay, and when answering, don't speak too quickly. Don't speak like me. I am a very fast guy, so don't speak too quickly when you are answering. Now, some common questions, you search it in the internet, you will get these questions. See, these are some common questions they will ask you in the interview boards, and you should prepare for the common questions, because these are the common questions which are very very common and related mostly to your personality. There is a this thing of asking your strengths and weaknesses. They'll ask you what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. So they are expected to tell you this, and somebody will openly say, sir, my strength is I am a very lazy person, I am a very unorganized person. Never ever say this kind of thing. Okay, even if you are a lazy person, even if you are an unorganized person, never start saying that, sir, that is my weakness. Okay. Generally, when people say what is your weakness, they'll tell something like, sir, generally when I start working, I don't leave it. I get after it, and I spend a lot of time on my work. I'm a workaholic. They generally they actually tell their strengths as weaknesses, and generally they project their some of the strong points as their weakness. Sir, I am very interested in work, so sometimes I neglect my family life or personal life because of work. People answer like this. Okay, so these are the general common questions you ask. Okay, so with this I come to the end of my session on interviews, and I hope you enjoyed it. And one question I'll answer, question by Niharika. Interview 8th semester mark nokkona choichadu. So will they consider 8th semester marks? Some of them consider, some of them don't consider. It depends on the requirement of the company. And a person like me, I hardly go through the mark sheets when I'm looking for a different kind of a what do you call that, competency. So it all depends on what kind of competency they are looking to. Are they looking? Is there some competency whose result is in the 8th semester? Suppose they want a Java programmer, and the Java paper, the final paper, maybe it's in 8th semester. So they will definitely look at it. Okay, and certain things they don't even bother about mark sheet also. People who don't perform very well in the academics also get a good job because they perform very well in the aspect which are looked by the interviewer or the organization. Okay, that's also possible. So I hope I have answered your question, Niharika. And anybody got any other doubts? You can ask another 2 minutes. I think it's already 7:30, 10:32. Anybody, any questions? So if you don't have any questions, can I get a small feedback about how the class was? Can I get a small feedback about the class and anything more you want to learn from this class? You can type your answer or you can answer. Niharika, thank you. Niharika says nice class. Thank you. Any other remark? Yeah, Ashwin, thank you. Very informative. Actually, it's not only informative, it is actually, I try to do it from the other point of view, the employer's point of view, so that you actually understand what the employer wants. Okay. So you have to practice these things. Very good. Okay. So thank you very much. Tomorrow we will meet again for the class in listening skills. Okay. Thank you very much. And please attend the, attempt the step test, STEP step test once you are free. And please attempt today and see your scores. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Now, students, you have to join for the next session at 10:35 a.m. Okay. Thank you. Please join by 10:35 a.m. Okay.